So I was afraid. I mean, there were tons of questions. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know if people would think I was crazy. You're probably wondering, do I even know how to do this? Do I have enough money to do this? And I think the biggest one for me and probably for you was, if I do this, will I fail? Right? So those are all valid questions, fears, and unfortunately, negative self-talk that you're probably going over and over and over in your mind. And I want to share with you the 7 things that steps that I took in order to get rid of that fear. Hey there, my loves. Welcome back to my channel and CPTV, the place for current and aspiring entrepreneurs who want to start and grow their businesses and passions in order to experience the true decision-making, financial, and lifestyle freedom of entrepreneurship. I'm Cheryl, or CP, whichever you prefer. And today I am really excited about this topic. This is actually episode 3 of CPTV's series on side hustle to freedom. And it is about exactly what it sounds like it's about. It's designed to help those of you who are in that space right now where you are thinking about starting a side hustle, you want to have a business, you work somewhere else, you're doing something else, and you really just need all the steps and support in order to get to that freedom. So I'm excited about this one because today we're going to be talking about fear. And I'm talking about the fear of starting a business. That fear that is almost paralyzing, and it's preventing you from taking action, actually moving forward in your destiny and in your journey. And I want you to stick around until the end because I've got an amazing gift for you. And this gift is near and dear to my heart. I have used it my entire career. I used it to overcome fear of starting my business. I still use it to this day when I am afraid of something going on in my business. But aside from business, it can also be used in your everyday life to help you overcome fears from time to time. And it is an amazing thing that I created a long time ago, and I'm going to give it to you in today's episode, but you've got to stick around to the end and I will tell you how to get it. So make sure you stick around. So I am excited and ready to go. So let's get to work. All right, first things first, let's discuss something. I know you're afraid, very afraid.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
And that's okay. I'm not trying to make a joke out of it or anything because it's a very serious topic. And what you're feeling is very, very normal. Believe it or not, statistics state that 1/3 of Americans are more afraid to start a business than they are to actually jump out of a plane.
Get the fuck out of here. No, I cannot.
I know, I just love that, right? Anyway, understandably, that is so valid. I mean, I was so scared. I was terrified, but I could not let that fear stop me from what I knew my gut was telling me I was supposed to be doing. And that was not working for someone else for the rest of my life. That was to create wealth for my children and my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren. That was to provide for the Black community in ways that most of my family had never been able to provide before. That was to remove the stress, financial stresses that come along with continuing to exchange hours for dollars at someone else's whim. So I was afraid. I mean, there were tons of questions. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know if people would think I was crazy. You're probably wondering, do I even know how to do this? Do I have enough money to do this? And I think the biggest one for me and probably for you was, if I do this, will I fail?
Failure is not an option.
Right? So those are all valid questions, fears, and unfortunately, negative self-talk that you're probably going over and over and over in your mind. And I want to share with you the 7 things that I really I should say steps that I took in order to get rid of that fear. To eliminate the majority of the fear. Because a little bit of fear is good, right? A little bit of fear is really that driving force to let you know that you're on the right path because you're getting ready to embark upon something new, and change in itself can be fearful. So a little bit of fear is just enough to push you, right? Give you that adrenaline to just take the step. But it's going to remove a lot of that paralyzing fear. That's the fear that we're addressing today. So let's dive into what those 7 steps are for me and that I recommend for you as well. The first step I took was to actually make a pros and cons and solutions list. And this list is something that I have done anytime I'm getting ready to embark upon a major decision in my life. I do it all the time. I'm going to recommend that you do it. It is so helpful in really making things very clear for you. So I literally had a piece of paper that I took and I broke it down into 3 sections, columns. You can do it on a computer now. You can actually write it down. The first column was pros to actually making the leap and starting my business. The second was cons. And then the third was solutions to the cons. And believe it or not, as I wrote down the cons, not only did I clearly see, and I put everything I can think of down there, right? Everything I can think of. And once I was completely empty of all of those thoughts, I was able to look at it and say, wow, the pros really do outweigh the cons. But then I was also able to look at it and say, I really do have a solution for all of these cons. And so it really did alleviate a lot of that stress as it related to, can I do this, right? Or what if this happens? How will I come across it? It forced me to actually sit it down. So I recommend the pros, cons, and solutions list, not only in this instance, but anytime you got to overcome a fear of any kind. Step number 2 was I had to get my inner perfectionist in check, and you need to get yours in check too. Now, this is very, very difficult for me because I don't even know why, but I am wired to be a perfectionist. And at first I thought maybe it was just how I was raised, but I have a 14-year-old daughter and she is wired that way too. And I know I haven't raised her to believe she needs to be perfect. So I legitimately believe it is something genetic involved in my wiring and my perfectionistic nature. It's just the way that I am. I'm just over the top and so extra about everything. And so that was one of the hardest things for me to overcome this fear, to realize that it was not going to end perfectly and that everything wasn't going to be lined up and stacked up perfectly in order for me to move forward. So I had to take on a taking imperfect action mindset. And that was because I truly believe that while being perfect is a big deal for me, taking action is more important to me. Because if you don't actually move in the direction of making it so that you can achieve and get what you want in life, then you'll do nothing but die with regrets or live with regrets later on in life. And so those of you out there who have worked with me and know me, you know I am all about saying exactly what I want and doing exactly what I want and going after what I want. And so the action being imperfect was more important to me than actually waiting for perfection. You got to stop believing that perfection is going to be there, because it's not. And if you're afraid of starting before things are perfect, then you're never really going to get started. The third step that I had to take was purposefully beginning to stop the negative chatter in my mind and start believing in myself. And this was a very big deal. I'm going to tell you to shut it off. Now, you can't stop it because naturally, in our minds, we will have these negative thoughts that come in, and it's not really negative. If you ask my husband, he'll say it's the realist, in me. So there is a certain level of being realistic and really kind of trying to plan for, what could happen, but that does create a lot of negative thoughts. And so what I've come to learn is when I would have that negative chatter that was convincing me more so than I was convincing myself that I could do it, it was convincing me that I couldn't do it. And so I had to really say, I bring a special value to the world that right now I'm holding on to because I'm afraid. And that's selfish. I had to believe that what I could contribute was so important and that it could really have an impact. So I had to believe in my ability to move forward in this direction. And when I was having a negative thought that would say, girl, you can't do it, or no, ain't nobody gonna listen to you, or whatever, I had to say to myself, self, shut the up. It is what it is. So the fourth step that I had to take was really empowering, and that was educating myself and beginning to get the knowledge. So what I realized and have realized over the years, even as I work with people and coach them, is that oftentimes a lack of knowledge in a particular subject matter or topic creates a lack of confidence. And a lack of confidence equals fear. Right? They're kind of one and the same. If you're fearful of something, you're not confident in it. And usually you're not confident in it because you don't understand it and you don't know it. So I had to educate myself. And I mean, I'm a little more of an obsessive compulsive educator person. Some might actually call me a bit of a nerd. Shout out to all the nerds out there. Okay. We on the same team. But educating yourself will be so empowering, and it will almost eliminate the fear of, I don't know how to do this. There's so many resources. I read books. I registered for online courses. I looked up to and asked questions of people who knew what was going on. So there's lots of resources and tools out there. I mean, quite frankly, CPTV, the entire channel, is an amazing resource for you if you feel like you don't know how to do something as it relates to starting your business. Just roam around this entire channel. It's full of good content for you that's actually training you on how to start a business. So you really have no excuse to continue to say, I just don't know. You've got to get the knowledge to empower yourself, to build the confidence, to just do it. Step number 5 is to be realistic. And once you have the knowledge that I just talked about in step number 4, step number 5 becomes a little easier. When I say be realistic, I mean really understand and know what you're up against and begin to make a game plan surrounding the realistic aspect of starting a business. You are going to have to make sacrifices. You are going to be working longer hours. You are going to be building something. It's going to take time. You are going to have patience. You are going to have to shut out the noise and decide who to share things with. You're going to have to get advice and know who to get advice from. I actually have a great video that will coach you through that. I'll link up here to the cards, in the cards too. But in any case, you have to be realistic about what you're about to embark upon and begin to prepare yourself for all of those things. The last thing that you want when you start a business is a bunch of surprises. So definitely be realistic in what you're targeting, what you're moving forward in, and make sure that you're ready to do it. But it'll eliminate the fear, honestly, of not knowing the expected. Step number 6 in overcoming the fear, honestly, is to get the help you need. Get a coach or a mentor. One of the biggest things I think that drives the fear is feeling like you're all alone and that you've got to figure this whole thing out by yourself. And that just ain't true. I am telling you, when I first started being an entrepreneur, I invested significantly in mentors and in coaches that specialized in different things, because I needed not just an online resource or a book to read or a website to read or a checklist. I needed a person. I needed to talk to somebody who had been where I'd been, who really already knew the mistakes that I could make that could save me some money. So I looked at it like this. I could try to figure it out on my own and waste a ton of money doing it that way, or I could take that same money that I would be burning by making a bunch of mistakes that were unnecessary, pay a coach to actually help me, give me the stuff that I needed, and be able to do it that much faster. And so I had to get that coach and that mentor, and there's a ton of them out there. Honestly, that's why I specialize in what I specialize in, because I realized that there was a void in the coaching industry, even in business coaches, that really didn't focus on coaching people who wanted to start their businesses, who wanted to go from that side hustle to freedom. There really was a void in business coaching for small businesses that were in that growth phase, that they were moving from solopreneurship into wanting to grow a team, and they just didn't have the processes and the systems. So that's why I specialize in that audience, because there was a huge void. So I'm telling you, plan and invest in getting the coach or the mentor that you need. It's going to speed things up and ultimately save you a ton of money. And most importantly, get rid of that fear. And step number 7 that I took and that I honestly still take, and I want to be clear again, every single one of these steps can also be applied not just in starting a business, they can be applied in any aspect of your life where you are experiencing fear, which is why I'm going to give you that gift. But really, step 7 was to just take it one step at a time. It's like you kind of address it in small chunks. When it's this huge, overwhelming feat, it's more paralyzing. When you can break it down into small little chunks, you can actually tackle each chunk one step at a time and actually get it done. So yes, if you keep thinking about this entrepreneurial journey as what's going to look like 20 years from now, you will be paralyzed from moving. But if you can look at it and say, okay, what's it going to be 30 days from now? What's it going to be 60 days from now, 90 days from now, 6 months, a year, and take it in small chunks like that, it's going to really help you. One of my favorite quotes, and I really have to share this because I think it's important and it's something that I would recommend. If you can take a screenshot, take it and put it on your phone, because if fear is something that's paralyzing you, it's great to refer to. And it's from Bill Watterson, and he says, problems often look overwhelming at first. The secret is to break problems into small, manageable chunks. If you deal with those, you're done before you know it. And that is really what step 7 is all about, what's guided me in that direction. So take it in small chunks and you're good to go. So with that being said, I am going to keep my promise I said at the very beginning of the video and share with you my special tool and my free gift. I am actually going to give you for free. This is something that I created with love in order to be able to manage my fear that I used in the past. I've used starting every single business, and I still use today when I've got to do something that's freaking me out a little bit. And that's my fears are smaller than my feats. It's an affirmation exercise that's in the form of a worksheet, and you can really do it to help kind of get that mindset, because really fear is only as significant as the brain power that you give it. And so this actual worksheet will give you some affirmation and an exercise that you can do when you're getting to starting to feel that fear that can be overwhelming for you and you really need to overcome it. So I want you to make sure that you click down in the description below, grab the worksheet, and it's going to ask you for an email address so that we can email it over to you. But I want to make sure you access it, because it's not only something that's going to impact you in your journey towards entrepreneurship, but in anything and everything in your life. So my loves, it is time for you to take action and to not let that fear stop you. I mean, quite frankly, fear is always going to be there. You can't let it paralyze you from doing the good and achieving the lifestyle and the dream that you ultimately want. I mean, just think about it. If everybody who actually started something or invented something, especially things that are significant to us right now, like this cell phone, if the person who invented the cell phone had let their fear paralyze them and stop them from moving forward, where would we all be, right? So you too have to take that note. You can't let it stop you. Let it propel you, but use these tips to actually overcome it, and you will be moving in the right direction towards freedom and the lifestyle that you so much deserve. So if you like this, make sure you share it, you subscribe, you give me a thumbs up, and until next time, my loves, mwah, bye-bye.